Hey everyone. All right, so let's make a neighborhood today in Illustrator. So when you first open up Illustrator, there's a couple of different ways that you can create a new document. Now, I'm on a Mac, but Illustrator is going to work the same on a PC. The interface is going to look the same. And the only big difference is the command key versus the control key, but I'm going to try not to use any quick keys today to make it a little bit easier. I like to just use the big create new button over here on the left hand side. And we want to have an 8.5 by 11, but we want it to be landscape, not portrait. So make sure that you have it set to inches, not points, not pixels, or it'll be really small. And you can put in 8.5 by 11 and then change the orientation to landscape and hit the create button and it'll make that for you. Now, let's talk a little bit about workspace. So, your workspace might default to looking like this. The Essentials, I personally like to work in Essentials Classic, and I know that a lot of instructors like to work in Essentials Classic, so I'm going to show you where to change that. If you go to the upper right hand corner where it says Essentials and click, you can select Essentials Classic, and then I'm just going to reset that so it looks like the default that would look like on your screen. Now, the reason why I pick that is that I find that there's more options in Essentials Classic. So again, it's kind of up to you, but I find it to be a little bit easier because I have more tools available to me. I don't have to open up as many windows because they're already open on the screen. Another thing that you might want to do is turn on your rulers. So you can go up to View and go down to Rulers, there it is, and Show Rulers. And this is a good way to double check too that you're at inches. It should say 0 to 11 and then 0 to 8.5. All right, so let's get started looking at some of the tools we're going to use. I'm just going to bring my toolbar over so everybody can see it. And if you click on the two arrows up at the top right of the toolbar, it'll put it in a two-column format. And again, it might just be a little bit easier for you to select your tools. So what we're mainly going to be using today is the rectangle tool, the ellipses tool, the polygon tool. You can even use the star tool or the rounded rectangle tool if you want, and then the line segment tool. And we're going to just create a neighborhood. So you want to make sure that you are looking at the neighborhood as if you're standing on your street and you're looking at your street right on. You don't want it to look like a map, like something from Google Maps, okay? So I'm going to have a little bit of fun with this because why not? So if you click on the rectangle tool and hold down, you can get to some of the other tools. I'm going to go to the ellipses tool or the circle tool. And I'm also going to go over and turn and open up my swatches. And you can click on the swatches and just drag them out so that way you have them. And this is going to be kind of your default color panel. If you're like, these colors are kind of boring, you can open up other swatch menus. So down at the bottom, if you go over 1, 2, 3, 4, you can click, it says show swatch kinds menu. You can open up, you want to do all swatches and make sure that you can see them all here first. And then click on these 4 lines right here. And we're going to open up a swatch library. There's lots of default swatch libraries right on your machine. So I am going to open up earth tones because, we're working on that. And I'll just bring this over here. And again, open it up a little bit more. And you can even make the swatches larger. So set it to the large thumbnail view so that way you can see the colors a little bit better. And you'll notice too, whenever you pick a tool, it's going to default to having a white fill. You can see it right down here, white fill and a black outline. There's a couple of different places where you can change that in Illustrator. So you can go up here and say, change it. You can change the stroke over here. You can go over to your swatches. You can go over here where it says fill and stroke and change it over there. I usually, before I even put anything on the screen, I like to take the stroke off and change the fill to the color that I want. So I'm going to pick kind of like a green, maybe this green. And again, I have a circle selected, my circle tool, and you can draw right off of the artboard because it's going to end up being cropped when you save it. I'm just going to do something like this. And then maybe I want to grab a little bit of a darker green. And again, I'm going to go over to my ellipses tool and draw another one. And maybe this kind of like brown color, and I'm going to draw another one. So this is kind of fun. So this is completely out of order how I want it to go. And I did this on purpose because I wanted to show you how to arrange things on the page in a different order. So I want this to go in order of color. So lightest, medium, dark. So what I'm going to do is the easiest way to fix this is I'm going to select this medium range one first, and I'm going to go up to Object and Arrange, and I want to send it all the way to the back, the very last option. And then I'm going to select the darkest one. I'm going to do the same thing. Object, Arrange, Send to back. And if I want to kind of resize this. Well, when I'm on my direct selection tool, the black arrow tool, I can click on one of these bounding boxes and just kind of resize it. And right now, here are my fun rolling hills. So this is going to be some rolling hills. I don't really have that many rolling hills near my house, but we can pretend. Now, what if I want a nice sky back here? Well, let's go back to my rectangle tool. And I'm going to pick this kind of grayish blue color. And I'll draw a rectangle right to the edges. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to send this to the back. I'm going to do Object, Arrange, Send to back. And again, in order to do anything with something, you need to make sure it's selected on the page. Just like this. And this is a good time, if you've gotten your background done, to save this. So we made all of those folders in week 1. Remember, we're going to want to do a File, Save As. And let's grab the naming convention. I just like to copy and paste it. And I'm going to make sure I put it in my folder for week 2. Make a folder called Assignment. And again, I'm on a Mac, so this will be a little bit different than your PCs. I'll change it to my first and last name, or even just your first initial and last name. And hit OK. Perfect. And then we can start to maybe build some houses. All right, so I'm going to go again to the rectangle tool, and maybe I want kind of this yellowy house right here, because I think it'll look really nice offset with the other colors I have on the screen. So I'm going to draw a rectangle for my house. And you know what? I need to have a triangle for the roof, right? So how do we make a triangle? Well, we've got all these tools, but I do not see a triangle tool here. So I'm going to go to the polygon tool. And maybe I want my roof to be this kind of reddish, dark red color. All right, with the polygon tool selected, you're not going to click and drag. You're just going to click on the screen and let go. And it's going to bring up this option that allows you to change the number of sides and even the radius. But I would leave the radius what it's set at. There's a lot of math that goes into the radius. So I'm going to change the number of sides to 3. I'm going to go back up to my selection tool and grab my triangle, move it over to the top of my house, and then again, I'm going to drag it and resize it, and then maybe move my house down. But I want to move these two pieces together. So on my screen, on my keyboard, I'm going to hold down Shift, and I'm going to select both of those pieces and drag them down together. And then what I can do is I can even, maybe I want like the inside of the house to have like a little bit of a glow to it. All right, so how can we do something fun like that? Well, let's go to our rounded rectangle tool. Again, not one of the tools that you have to use, but this could be something fun that we can do. And let's select this yellow, which is the same exact yellow that I have, but I want to lighten it. All right, there's a couple of different ways I can do that. I can double click over here, I can double click over here, I can click up here. I'm just going to double click right here. And see how it shows this dot up here at the color picker? I'm just going to grab that dot and move it over, and you can see the new color against the original color. Maybe do that, and then I'm just going to hit OK. And I want to zoom in. So there's two different ways that you can zoom in. You can go down to the zoom tool, or you can press on your screen Command or Control, if you're on a Mac or PC, the plus sign. So zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. Oh wait, where did it go? I'm going to show you one other really handy thing. Press your space bar. You see how it gives you the hand? But then when you release, you're still on your rounded rectangle tool. So the holding down the space bar, I can now grab the screen with my mouse and move it around, let go, and I'm back to the tool I was on before. So I'm just going to use that rounded rectangle. Just kind of plop that down here. And I want to change the radius, the corner of it, and bring it in a little bit. So up here I can do that. And looks good. And kind of just click off the screen here. And then I'm going to go back to my rectangle tool. Let's do some windows. Maybe we'll do this blue color. Just plop a couple of windows down on the screen. Maybe we'll do like one. I want a nice square, like a real well-drawn, all four sides the same size square. All right, well, there's two different ways I can do that. I can hold down Shift again, and that's going to draw a nice proportional square for me. Perfect. Or I can just click on the screen and make sure that the height and the width are locked by clicking on the lock and hit OK. And there we go. Do that again. Okay. Well, now I want to make sure that all of my squares are, whoops, wrong tool, Command Z, or Control Z, Edit, Undo. Now I want to make sure that all of my squares are lined up nice and neat. Sometimes, again, you have to click off, click back on, and drag it up there. Well, holding down the Shift tool, let's select all the squares. And you'll notice up at the top that I now have the alignment. So I'm going to align them all vertically first. And then what I want to do is I want to horizontally distribute them to the center to make sure they have the same amount of space in between. And there we go. And now what I can do is I can actually make a copy of these squares and make rows of windows. So you can go up and do Edit Copy, Edit Place, or you can hold down your Alt if you're on a PC, Option key if you're on a Mac, And see how it goes from being one arrow to two arrows? Hold on, I'll do it right here again. One arrow to two arrows, click, and start to drag down. As you're dragging, hold the shift key and the alt key at the same time and let go. It's going to line it up nice and neat. All right, so we've got rows of windows. Well, let's change these ones to be maybe this color, and then this row maybe to be this color. And let's draw a nice big front door, right? Here. Nice little rectangle. Maybe our front door will be red. And we can do, again, using those same keys, maybe holding down shift. Let's scale it proportionally. We'll do two nice big windows right there. And maybe our windows are this color or this color. And zoom out. So Control or Command minus. If you want everything to fit in the screen, Control or Command 0. Or you can go up to View. Zoom in or out, fit all in window. All right, so I've got this nice house going on here. Well, let's see, maybe I can make a road off of this. So let's use our line segment tool. And maybe you want your road to kind of go over this way and off the screen. Maybe just kind of creating some dimension here. So let's draw the line, and then let's add a stroke to it. Maybe nice darker stroke, and then maybe what we even want to do is something like this. Let's start to change the stroke and check it out. All right, so we're gonna need to make the stroke a little bit bigger to see what this is doing. Again, I'm just trying to add a little bit of dimension to the piece. Oh, that's pretty cool. Kind of almost looks like a little shadow there. That's fun. And then we can even, maybe draw some trees or something else to keep going with this. Have fun with this. Add a road in. Maybe the road right here. And again, if you accidentally are on the stroke and you want to change it to be the fill color, you can use the two arrows to flip between the two. And I'll bring this fun little piece right here to the front. Object, arrange, bring to front. So have fun with this. Save often, file save, Control S, Command S, and then once you are done, submit it in the assignment. All right, can't wait to see your neighborhoods. Have a great day.